Welcome to tonight's edition of Beyond the Ordinary Show. Today we have Raven Many Voices, and I'm going to share a couple of descriptors, and we'll get into asking Raven what it is that she's doing, why she's motivated to come on today. And y'all, the energy in the air today feels electric. It feels electric. And as you're listening to the replay, even if it's weeks later, there's an essence that we're riding the waves of that we can pick up and augment from one another with the intention of really moving forward and waking something up within us, and how to attune in such a way that our environment, our houses, if you will, are in integrity with that potentiality that we're getting to experience. So it's going to be an amazing call. The topic today is the house of love. We're going to get into discovering your house spirits and how to work with them, which is going to be amazing. I love this conversation. Learning easy ways to cleanse negative energy from yourself and your space, and creating an easy ceremony to protect your house with your spirit guides, and so much more. Again, this is going to be such an activating, fun call. I felt it already, that I hope you guys have a chance to just drop in and have fun with us on today's call. And with that, Raven, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much, John, for having me. Yay, feels good to be back.
Raven, you fascinate me. Your enthusiasm is infectious. The energy that you bring through is just it opens up so much joy and possibility. It's again, it's infectious. Um, but you have this immense training and all of these different traditions and spiritual realms. And I love if you can just share a little bit about that before we get into more of the meat of today's conversation.
Totally. I actually have to update my bio with you guys. I'm closer to 30 years doing this than 20 years.
Oh.
I've been a spiritual counselor, helping people find their path to divine, whatever that path is. So I'm multi-traditional, multi-paths, because all pathways lead to divine. So it doesn't matter what tradition or what angle you're coming from. When we look at that multifaceted crystal in the middle, it's divine, however you call that, Brahma, Shiva, God, whatever. It's us and all of our different viewpoints that makes it fun. And when you can walk and dance around that crystal and see those different vibrant ways to connect with spirit, then that really shows us the vibrant colors within us, our diversity. So that's been a lot of my training, is to work with different elders in multiple traditions. I've had the great joy to work with the Aborigine elders, with South American elders, with Druid and European elders. I myself have a bloodline, both the Lakota peoples and Seneca Onondaga traditions. So I've done, yes, lots of training with the land. I keep a 50-foot medicine wheel in my backyard, which I walk around every day offering up my tobacco and lavender up to the grandfathers and grandmothers so I can talk to those spirits. But also, I love all the different ways people's passion and how they connect. And that's why I've helped people for so long, because no matter how long I've been doing this, I always meet someone in a new way they work with their spirit guides. And that's why I was given the name Raven Many Voices, because I am a voice to those spirits and those beings that don't have a voice. So a lot of the years I've been on your show and talked about dragons, I've talked about connecting with your shadow spirit guides, to the fairies, to your inner child. Holy cow, I've done the gambit, because I really want people to be excited to know you're not alone. And you have this supportive network of beings around you to help walk along that path to spirit, however, what angle of that great crystal you walk towards. So I love it. I've been doing this for a long time. I always learning more, and that's why I'm always going out in the community and meeting more great people, no matter how you do that, through spirituality or cosplay or dress up as a giant furry animal, or however you do it. That's the cool thing, is spirit. You don't have to do it in one way or one religion. It is our connection to divine, and however we find that passion and spirituality. And I love it. I have found the most spiritual people in the middle of a Comic-Con and talking Trekkie stuff. That's the cool thing. No matter how you approach divine, it's about about your connection and passion. And that's why I'm here with you, John, because I love your community. Everybody is so passionate and connected and evolving. And let me tell you, this year is all about evolution. So get your popcorn ready. We're going to have a fun year. But I think that's why I wanted to come on the show, because no matter how we go travel that path or get out there in our communities, or maybe just watching social media, we need to have a safe space. We need a safe place we can come back to and feel safe, feel like we can connect, heal, laugh, or just be ourselves. So that's what Spirit kind of poked me and wanted me to come talk about House of Love today with all of you, because I think that's really important to have a safe space. And what does that look like? So, and if I can get people connected to their unknown, unseen spirit guides, I'm all over it being a voice.
Well, it's not a question of if, you definitely do. And again, I've gone to some pretty significant parts of the world where I was going to be immersed with spirits intentionally. And the guidance that you provided and the spirits that came through and how they were like, I felt like I had them in my pocket talking to me as I was navigating some pretty treacherous, amazing terrain.
Wow.
It facilitated journeys that just went to a whole nother level. And that's wonderful to take them into those environments. But you're right, to have our sanctuary that we function in every day, that we sleep in, that we wake up in, that we eat our food from, that we're communioning with, and to understand how to properly tend to it
Yeah.
it's for me, it's one of the most important things in my life. I have to, because if I don't, I can feel the nuances and the difference. So guide us in. Where do you want to start us with tending to this home and house loving or house of love? Yes.
Well, I think the first thing is let's talk about the house and all that. And it's really interesting because one of the I've been doing house blessings for many, many years. I was on TV, was interviewed by a producer and helped him and his wife and children to be able to sell their house.
Mm.
And I've done $3 million homes. I've done, like, a trailer park home. I have done the gambit. I've done hoarders homes. I've done new construction.
Oh,
Yeah, I've done it all, been on TV for it. So I've done office buildings, clinics, everything. So I've really seen quite a bit and experienced quite a bit from all that. So I have, like I said, I have some good juicy stories to share tonight. Oh my gosh, I've had the stories. But one of the big questions I get is, do you have to own a house? Can I do it for an apartment? Can I do it for an office? Can I even do it for my car? And the answer is yes. We have around us guides and energy that allow us to interact. Like you said, you went on this trip and you felt like you had your guides in your pocket, right? You
right.
have this energy, this bubble around you that's always protecting you, watching out, helping you sense and interact, or even draw those amazing people to you so you can have that perfect conversation on the subway that you weren't expecting, right? That goes with us no matter where we're at. Now, where you are, when you go to a place repeatedly, you make a stronger connection. So think about it. If you are in your house, your apartment, wherever, this is where you sleep. This is where you spend a lot of time. So you've created and fostered a very deep connection there, putting roots. So it doesn't matter if you own a house or rent, you're putting a lot of energy into the space and making a huge connection. Now, I deal with people all the time that either they're moving or all that, and we can have multiple different conversations today, but starting with just the space you're at. The only difference between owning versus renting is right there in that. When you own something, you have owned it, you have signed it. There is a more deeper connection because you're responsible for the property, that condo, whatever, you own it, versus renting where you're borrowing. You are giving money to borrow this space. So sometimes you have to put a little extra effort into claiming that space because you are renting it. So that can sometimes shift. shift. And also, when you are like in an apartment building with lots of different people around you, your intention of creating that space around your apartment or your condo can change a little bit too, because you're sharing walls versus if you have a property. So, but the intention is always the same. This is my space. I deserve to have peace, tranquility, and healing in this space, and my guides make a bubble around me to protect me. So I wanted to say that up front because a lot of people get confused. Well, I'm renting. Can I still do that? Of course you can. That's the cool thing, is just because spirits, energy, negative energy, and all that is invisible doesn't mean there isn't rules, and you can enforce those rules. And we need to remember we're working together with spirit. We're working together with these energies. So you don't have to be pushed around by ghosts. You don't have to let everything come in your front door. That's why we have a door, right? We close it. And I think sometimes people forget that. So when we can put certain rules in place and we do certain protocols with ourselves, this can really help. And this applies to a practitioner too. I don't know how many people have gone to a doctor's office or a practitioner's office and it felt nasty because
Mm.
everybody left stuff. And this is definitely at psychic shows. When you go to like spiritual shows and stuff, it can kind of feel ooky because everybody's shedding all this stuff and no one's clearing their space. I got known at different shows I go to because I'd stay and be one of the last people to leave because I'd go around with a bell and clear the whole convention, just clear it to make sure that all the energy is gone. And I still do this to this day at Comic Cons or wherever I'm at. I will intentionally, as everything's breaking down, I will clear the energy, clap my hands and clear it because that's just what I do. And that's, like you said, that's part of us being good caretakers, is that we clear the space. So we have to remember that, be that if you're renting an office or renting a space, is that I even do that with a massage. I'll go in, clear the massage space, ask my guides to clear the space so that I can have my massage. And then as I'm getting dressed, I clear the space so that it's clear for the next person. It's being good, a good neighbor. You're clearing the space for the next person. And we forget these things. So yes, there's definitely little tools and things you can do, little mnemonics that make it easier, but a lot of it comes down to intention, is that you intend, hey, this is my space. I want it clear. I'm protected. And yay, I think that's great stuff to talk about. There's a huge lot to talk about, isn't there?
Fantastic stuff to talk about. And I'm just going to plant this little seed also. I want to get into house spirits and our spirits and how to work with them because I think it's so important. But part of the clearing energy also is when you were speaking also, and how are we showing up in our awareness? Are we showing up to leave it a better place than when we entered?
Yeah,
And every time I go to an Airbnb, a hotel or something, or I always do an invocation of gratitude for every room that I'm in so that I can elevate the place and I can leave something behind that hopefully will be beneficial for the next person.
yeah.
And so to be with spirits that way, we really start co-creating something that's it just feels appropriate. It feels right.
Definitely. It's interesting how when we come from this place of being in balance and working with our environments and, like you said, leaving it better, we get drawn to the most amazing places. So I can't tell you how many times I've been invited to different lands, or like vacation or a secret spot opened up, or even hiking like a path and no one noticed and I noticed it because it's literally was revealed because the land wanted me to help clear it. I do this at spas all the time. I go to like the Oriental spas. I'll go into the rooms, like the charcoal room, the sea salt room, and the rocks actually go, "Oh, good, you're here. Can you help us clear?" So I actually, before I even start sweating, I'm clearing the room,
Oh my
the
God.
energy, and then I hear this collective sigh from all the charcoal and sea salt, and then I have the best experience. And people walked in and went, wow, this room feels so good. And we
Yeah,
don't think about it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, that it is like such an honor to do that. And again, anytime we come from gratitude, spirit always notices and brings blessings our way, brings miracles. So why not be a walking blessing? Let's do that. Yeah.
Amazing. I love your stories. Oh my God, this is so great. So let's get into how can we discover our house spirits? And there's a difference between our spirits and house spirits. I
Yes,
just want to be clear
definitely. They're
about that.
connected to the house and land. And I got to make a differentiation. There is two different spirits that you're working with. You
Mm,
have, yes, your house, condo, apartment spirit. So for apartment, oftentimes you'll have an overseeing house spirit that actually is for the whole entire apartment complex. So like watch over the whole thing. Now this is different than ghosts. We'll handle this in a second. But this is the overseeing diva spirit that actually watches over the house. And this could be a fairy, it could be an angel, it can be a really old spirit that's very connected to the house. Sometimes the old farmhouses and stuff has like the original person that was connected to that farmhouse, and they are watching and governing over that house, even though it's a condo now, over it, watching, making sure everybody's safe. And then you have land spirits. So you may have the house spirit, but then you have a land spirit that can actually be different, which will actually be your outside your land. And this can be connected to a big tree. So if anybody's seen any of my videos, I am always in the backyard in front of a ginormous cherry tree in my backyard. It's like 100 feet. That is the land spirit that governs my property. It was actually one of the reasons why I bought this house, because when I went here to look at the property and laid in the back underneath the shade of that tree, it went, oh, good, you're here. I've been waiting for you. It
mm.
interviewed me and asked me to be a caretaker for the land. And that is so important to differentiate between those two, because a land spirit could be a tree or a rock in your property, or it could be for a whole region, like a mountain or a river can oversee that. And when you work with both your house, which helps the inside of your house, and you work with the land, because someone mentioned, oh, I bet your medicine wheel is sending out energy. Oh, yes, it is. It was one reason why that tree was so excited, because it knew I'm a caretaker of medicine wheels, and I link my medicine wheel with all medicine wheels around the world. So when I send out prayers, it goes everywhere on that network. So yeah, that's what connects us heart to heart all over the place. So when I pray, I can pray for anybody around the world and be connected to that because of that link. And anybody can do that. Anybody can sit there, take 5 pebbles, put it on the ground or your counter or your desk where you're sitting here with the computer, and link into that energy. And that's what makes our prayer so powerful when we're doing it together. So yeah. And when you have the blessing of your house spirit, then you know you're safe. They got your back. You can do your prayer work. You can do your meditation. You can do your healing. You can battle the battles out there and come back because you have this warm hug that's going to hold you and help get all that energy off of you as you walk in the front door.
How do we have more of a relationship with our house spirit? How can we be more in communion with that energy and that cyclical energy where we become a contribution to the house spirit or the land or the house as well? It's it just seems like it builds upon one another.
Definitely. And it's interesting because a lot of my house blessings I've done actually over the internet all around the world. So I feel like I've traveled all over without leaving my seat. And that's one of the things that we can do. We do that. We may not be able to go with you to Egypt to be able to go on one of those amazing tours, but we can look at Egypt through the computer and feel like we're there because we can be everywhere, right? I also use that same way when I'm helping people with the blessing of their homes. Use Google Maps. So when you want to look at let's start with the land first. When you look at the land, use Google Maps satellite view and back up from your house and
Mm.
look at the land features. Look at the close rivers and mountains and things like that. Identify them. Do a Google search and find out. If you have a big mountain range right by you, then what is the history of that mountain range? A lot of times you can find out the history of the area, and it helps you to understand the energy. If you're in a place where they had a big fire and a lot of people died, there might be some negative energy there. And it might be one reason why spirit brought you to that land to help clear it. A lot of us big movers and shakers of spirit, we don't understand, but we're like anchor points of light. And all of our meditation work we do for ourselves, well, that's why Mother Earth moves us to different places, because when we do our work for ourselves, we're actually anchoring that energy into the Mother Earth, and we're sending it out continuously, even if you're not conscious of that. And it helps clear the energy. One of the houses I was moved to, a duplex, was a drug dealer house. Thanks, Spirit. I moved in there and we found so much drug paraphernalia and bottles and everything in the bushes as we cleaned it out because they knew I'd clean the property. But because I cleared the energy, we had neighbors come up and thank us. Thank you so much for taking care of the property. We've noticed. It was amazing. And it wasn't until I finally said, why does everybody keep saying that? They told me who had lived there before and how the police would come all the time. So Spirit brought us there to clear that. So that's the land. The house spirit, how to get to know it is to really sit and meditate in your house. So, of your house, of old time, our center where everybody would gather would be in the kitchen because that's where the big fire would be, where the cooking would be, where it would stay warm, right? So everybody would gather there in the kitchen. So usually kitchen or where everybody gets together, like a TV room or a living room, is the heart of your home. It's where everybody gathers. And it's a great place to be able to connect because oftentimes the spirits of our homes like to be in those areas. Now, sometimes there might be an old house you're living in, you have a cold room. That might be where spirits like to hang out too. So I usually tell people to walk around, start in the kitchen or the gathering area. Or if you have a tingling place that feels warm and comforting and safe, maybe it's a bedroom or a back bedroom or even an attic, go to that place and be quiet and meditate. And then reach out and just ask. The number one thing we forget is all we have to do is ask. House spirit, I know you're there. Please reveal yourself to me. I'd like to work with you. And the biggest thing, it's like meeting someone. You chose this place to move into it for a reason. So consciously or not, you were drawn to the energy of that home. So maybe you need to reintroduce yourself. Hi, I'm John. Thank you for allowing me to come into your place. I'd like to work with you. What's your name and how can we connect? And that's it. You got to start a relationship with them. Each house spirit is kind of funny. A lot of times they like to be offered gifts or fed. I had a house spirit in one of the places we lived, and it loved potato chips in the fireplace. We actually
Oh,
heated with fire. And so we would throw potato chips into the fire to feed it.
man. What do you think about working with house spirits and some people, and I do too, work with like putting grids around their house with crystals and like amplifying a particular energy or essence? And are there any negative consequences to doing it wrong?
Let's talk about it. I grid too. Believe it or not, this place of because I've moved several times. This place is right next to huge power lines, like the big ones, and
Mhm.
everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, you're such a spiritual person. How can you be close to those?" Well, I understood. I looked at the land, I connected to the tree, and at first I was like, why? Why are you moving me here? And they're like, you've misunderstood what those are. And I'm like, well, what are they? They're thunderbirds, they're electricity, they're Waukeshan. It's like,
Wow.
yeah. So everybody always talks about all the harmonics and magnetics and how bad they are in the bodies. And we get so caught up in our minds that we forget we still don't really understand electricity, just like we don't understand lightning. So because I work with the Waukeshan, the thunder beings quite a bit, I look past all that and went, oh my God, you're a Waukeshan, you're electricity. Well, duh, no wonder why I'm here, because I'm on a mountain with electricity right next to me, and the thunder spirits come all the time up here. So when I had that different relationship, I said, okay, I will put all my beliefs aside I've had before. They're getting in my way to have a conversation and a connection to you. What do I need to do? And the first thing they said is, you're not grounded and your property's not grounded. So I had to put a grid. So I put magnets on all four corners of my house to ground it. Oh my gosh. And as soon as
That's
I did that,
brave.
I sleep like a baby and that energy doesn't bother me at all.
Wow.
Right? And they even would
Ah,
make me, oh, so for a year, I could not wear shoes. I had to only wear moccasins. And where I walk goes right directly underneath those power lines. I'd go there and feel it. I could feel it zapping me underneath it. And when I was grounded, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't give me headaches, nothing. The image they gave me is like a bug zapper. So I let that energy surround my property and zap away all the negativity. It's great.
wow. Well, what are some other ways we can cleanse negative energy? Again, a lot of times we'll use sage and some of the rituals, and I think it's beautiful, but is there a more conscious and ceremonial way to work with some of these elements that can really have a greater effect than
Definitely, definitely. I think we got to remember their tools. Yes, sage is amazing. It literally has scientific properties of killing germs in the air when we burn it.
Right.
Cedar too, lavender. I even did a video. It's included on that for different ceremonial stuff we do, or sprays, or oh my gosh, there's so many different stuff. I think the biggest thing is intention. Is like one of the things that I put in my property. So when you work with your house spirit and your land spirit, again, you can put that grid, and I do, because when I moved from my last property, I had an even bigger medicine wheel, and I had to kind of shrink it down and make it smaller in this current property. So I had extra rocks. So what I did is I actually took those rocks and I put them all the way around my property line. So I actually live inside of a giant medicine wheel. So I'm in a medicine wheel inside of a medicine wheel. I love it.
Wow.
It's such an amazing feeling. And we could do that too. Again, you don't have to get rocks from around the world. You could just take marbles from a dollar store, sit there with your marbles, sit them with your guides, your angels, and say, hey, I want these to protect my house, my apartment, wherever. And just place them in those four corners of your house. And imagine your angels, your guides linking wingtip to wingtip, hand to hand, and creating a bubble. And then put that intention. So my intention is not just my physical house, it's all the way to beyond the edge of my property. So it's including my cars, it's including the pets and all that. And my intention is only love and light may enter here. And
Mm.
everything else, when people come to visit, anything that's not appropriate to come into my house has to stay at the curb and then has to leave with them. And it's amazing. I can't tell you how many door-to-door salespeople try coming up to my property, literally stop in my driveway, then turn around and walk away. It's great. Works really good. But it's amazing because that way I'm not even allowing it in the house. It's like I'm putting that intention out there. I do it again around the door. I'll take lavender or juniper oil or camphor and draw around the door, and I will repeat it 4 times. Only love and light may enter here. Only love and light may enter here. And so that way, even when I'm coming back and I'm like processing really heavy emotions, it's not coming in. And if it is coming in because I'm processing, then I have like tools and things I have around the house. Like I have 3 rocks stacked by the front door. And if those things are knocked over, I know the energy has been tripped. It's a sign for my house spirit to actually show me, hey, you need to sage, that the energy is off in your house. So we could do little mnemonics like that. Or like after I'm done on this show, the first thing I'm going to do is ring my bell, because that
Nice.
clears the whole space. And it's also kind of a sign to all the guides, hey, I'm done. This was excellent. I'm sending you back to your spaces because I'm off duty now. Because otherwise, a lot of times when we do our meditations and stuff in our house, if we don't have a way to hang up the phone to say we're done, those ancestors and guides hang out, and that's why they wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning and want to have a conversation. And when you have sleepwalked down buck naked in February down to the medicine wheel, because your ancestors wanted to talk to you, you have some words with them, and I made new rules. So a lot of my rules I've come up with because I've had some amazing experiences, and sleepwalking naked down there, then waking up and going, why do I have hypothermia? Why am I freezing? It snowed. It was cold. I woke up down there. Yeah.
Amazing. So you're sharing it, y'all. We're gonna run today's replay. There's a lot here, and but it's no, just like it's electrifying is how I started the call today, and it's supercharged. And we're again, the replay will come in. There's so much more to share. We're gonna get into it. Raven's special offer we'll get into in a little bit. Also, it's how you can apply all these things and really just like again create that space that's safe and relaxing and open so that you can be open, so that the fluidity of your essence has the room to really experience its beingness, which is so wonderful. So we'll get into the special offer in a little bit, and of course we're going to get into Q&A.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing all kinds of good questions already
There's
on the
great
chat
questions
screen.
coming in
Oh
right now. I
yeah.
saw them.
Yes, I
We'll
would
get
love
to
to be your
those.
neighbor too. Yay! Someone said, I want to be Raven's neighbor.
So talk to me about ceremony, and you also speak of ways of creating an easy ceremony to protect our house.
Definitely.
Um,
Definitely. And again, oh my gosh, I'm a feng shui practitioner. I've done so many different things and really find the modality that works for you. If we break it down, someone had a question because they have a water tower across the street. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So elements, like one of the basic ways that we can do is to make sure that we have all four elements in our house. So water, fire. I have a candle lit. I have, of course, rocks and stones all around me because I love rocks. And then air, because I have the bell, but I also have feathers and stuff around me. So there's all four elements in this room right here that's helping balance the energy. When you have a lot of energy of water, there's a water tower across the street, then you make sure that you have the balance of water, which is fire. So you can have fire, water. It's like, it's making sure you have all those represented. That's also that hanging up too. Ceremonies. When we do ceremony, no matter what ceremony, there's a reason why indigenous people have always started with fire, because that's the link that connects you to spirit. You probably did that in some of your ceremonies and some of the places you did.
Oh
You
yeah.
start with that fire or candle or whatever. And then when we're done, what do? We blow out the candle. So it's a way to hang up that phone call to make sure they know that we're done. So having those elements is a physical thing you can do. The other way, again, is that intention. So by creating a relationship with your house spirit, again, that's the first step is, hey, who's there? I want to work with you, introducing yourself, finding out how you can communicate. So what's a way I can communicate with your house spirit, or how can I make an offering? So maybe they want to have those 3 rocks stacked, or maybe they want a wind chime so they can ring the bell, literally ring the bell to get your attention. Your job then is to tune in. If the bell's ringing a lot and you look outside and you're like, huh, it's not windy today and the bell's ringing, somebody wants my attention, then you need to stop for a second and ask. And that could be your guides. So you can give permission to your house spirit to, maybe you always work with Archangel Michael. You're going to have them actually get a hold of Archangel Michael, and then Archangel Michael can be like, you need to tune into your house. So you can set up these things to kind of help you. The actual ceremony is really simple. Well, I just mentioned it. Really, once you get to know your house spirit, you can have them join your team. So, like I said, Archangel Michael, some of you work with animals. I can feel like all kinds of different guides around everybody and joining in on this call. So you see them as this group and you visualize them, seeing them as this big ring holding hand in hand around you. And it makes that beautiful circle protecting you. An easier, quicker way to do it is use the directions. So compass. So east, south, west, north. So when I go in for a massage, like I said, you are the center wherever you're at. So yes, we can do this at home and we can set it up. You talked about gridding. This is a really good way to use a grid. So I have crystals in all 4 corners of this room. And I held them, each of them, asking from the east, I asked for that clarity. From the south, I asked for that purification. From the west, I asked for that soothing and healing. And from the north, I asked for that wisdom. I ask each of these crystals to hold that intention and to purify this space continuously. So no matter the work I do with clients, this room is always cleansing itself, which is great. We can do that in a room. We can do that for our house. We can do that for our property, or we can just do it with our own intention. So when I go in for a massage, I do the same thing. I'll stop. Doesn't matter if I can't quite figure out what way's east. Spirit knows intention. So I'll start and say, to the east, I ask all energies from the east to disperse. I ask my guides to come and surround this room. And I'll do that for each direction, seeing that circle around me and around the massage table so I can have my massage. And at the end, then you can dismiss each direction. I've done this so much, I just clap my hands and say, I ask you all to leave. And they all go, yep, we're out of here. And it clears the space. And then I always say, I cleanse and clear the space for the next person. So however you want to change that wording, but that's the intention. I want it to be cleansed and cleared for the next person. And that helps me, massage therapists, always bring new clients in for their table. I do the same thing for me. I cleanse and clear the space. I don't want any more, don't send anymore. I'm on break now, and I bring the next person to me. So I'm always creating this void for spirit to bring more, but it also says, hey, I'm off duty now, which is good too. So I've worked with practitioners, I've worked with homeowners, but It's all about intention. So we could do the huge ceremonies, which are great. And I always recommend those for house blessings. Like, really take the time to really create that space that you desire. But when we get into the role of it, we can do a quick ceremony. And that's where that quick saging or ringing the bell comes in place. But until you have those protocols in place, sometimes we need to do the bigger ceremony. Does that answer your question?
It does. It does. And part of the bigger ceremony, that'll be part of the special offer as well, right?
Oh
Is it's
yeah. Because
oh,
I've been asked, hounded for years, how do you do house blessing? So guess what? I'm going to teach you how to actually bless your house. You're going to learn with me.
and I know that y'all are like vibing on this also, but I have to share how important every house that I go into, the house blessing, the ritual, the heart, the acknowledgement of spirit, the asking spirits to allow us to integrate gracefully. There's like this beautiful protocol that comes into place, and it's a mutual respect.
Yep.
It's a mutual respect, and people walking in my house, no matter where I live, is like, oh my God, I feel like so comfortable here right away, right?
Yes,
Immediately,
totally.
immediately, it's like, wow, I feel so good in here.
Yeah.
Everywhere I've lived, as I've dropped into those type of ceremonies, and I get to live in my space that way as well, and we should.
Yeah.
There's no reason why all of us can't benefit from just having that beautiful reference point of reverence for everything that is,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
And again, these homes, these house spirits, they are so excited because again, when we work with spirit and we're consciously working on ourselves and healing, we're healing them, we're helping them, which is huge. And a lot of times, like the drug dealer house I was in, we were literally brought there to help break up that old negative energy, to clear it, to help anchor that in. And that short time I was there, holy cow, we transformed that property. We did so much and it was great. And I know it was all set up for the next person that came in. And again, when we moved here to this current place, it's like this energy. We didn't go very far, which is pretty funny. This valley was not ready to let go of us. So we just literally moved from one side of the valley to the other where I'm at. But I love it. I love the fact that that tree, which has been so predominant in a lot of my videos, if you watch any of my videos, you can see the little lights, little bugs. That's because it's a fairy mound. The tree is a guardian, it's a dryad, and they totally photobomb my videos, which is hilarious. So when you set up that space, it actually adds on to your ceremonies, your meditation, and your healing. It creates a safe space. And when I do prayers for my property, it's not just for the humans. I am asking this property to be a sanctuary so that all seen and unseen can come here and feel safe. The cool thing, what I've noticed since putting that intention into my prayer, wildlife comes and hangs out. Last year, we had a black bear cub decide to nest in our backyard.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he ate 5 of my bird feeders. Birds were a little upset, but we had a baby bear in our backyard. So it
Great.
was amazing. I have birds and squirrels and everything just come right up to me. Hummingbirds, everybody always says that. Oh my God, the hummingbirds love you here. And it's again because it's a sanctuary. And that's a lot of times as caretakers, we're asked to do. We're asked to bring that love, that gratitude, and also sometimes asking for forgiveness. I One of the things I found on my medicine wheel, if anybody's had their crystal towers knock over all the time, so if you create that grid and you notice that the grid is knocked over, this is something an elder taught me, that when you synchronize your energy of your home with the grid, with the surrounding area, with your prayers, your crystals will actually knock over in the direction of disturbance. So
Mm,
there was a big housing development not too far, just not even like, God, a mile away from me. And the crystals would all knock over in that direction. So
wow.
yeah, so it actually showed me where the disruption was on the grid. And so I'd send prayers and I said, I'm so sorry the humans are bulldozing all these old growth trees. I'm really sorry. What can I do? And I got come rescue us. So we went over there with 5-gallon buckets and we did a 5-finger discount. We took as many of the native plants of the areas they're going to bulldoze over anyways. So we rescued plants. There was a big rock that said, "Take me." So I took that and brought it back to my property and I gave them a place to live. And what happens when we do that is we're actually giving a piggyback ride for the spirits. So the spirits that knew that they couldn't be in that property anymore, they actually got a ride with the plants and the rocks and came here to my sanctuary, and they went into
Wow.
the old growth forest behind my house. So yeah, sometimes we can pick up land and house spirits. And that happens. Sometimes we get drawn and we're shopping from house to house and we can't understand why the deal doesn't go for the house. Sometimes we weren't meant to buy that house, but we were meant to pick up a spirit. I picked up 3. We had 3 different houses we put offers on away from this valley. None of them came through, but I ended up getting 3 house spirits that needed a new home. They wanted to come. So I actually have 3 house spirits that sit on top of my house.
Interesting. I actually have a question about that. And what
Yeah.
I want to do is I want to direct us to the special offer as well, y'all, because the house cleaning and blessing ceremonies and everything else that comes through is something that I want you all to have as a tool, something in your toolbox that you get to come to over and over again. This will just amplify your space in the most beautiful ways. And again, understanding ceremony in the way that Raven teaches it and gives you the step-by-step process for it is just it's what a beautiful way to work with spirits. So Chris or April is going to put the link in the chat box. You can find the special offer button on the page where you're watching the video from now. If you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, look for the link in the comments section and you'll be able to click on the special offer there. And while everybody's doing that, Raven, just quickly, are there some hitchhikers that we don't want to pick up along the way? And how do we determine the
Oh,
difference?
yeah.
Yeah,
Holy cow. One of the ways that we introduce spirits into our house, and we're not talking about house spirits here, we're actually talking about ghosts and
right.
energy, is actually sometimes the purchases we bring in. So that could be a flea market, it can be from a thrifty store, because sometimes my spirit guides will send me to Goodwill, Value Village, St. Vincent de Paul's, places like that. And
Mm.
I actually go in there to cleanse the energy. Antique shops, I'll just go in there and touch things and clear energy. I can't tell you how many times I've been sent into those places, but sometimes stuff comes home. Or, oh my gosh, one of the houses we went to was like Partyville. It was crazy. And the house can attract certain energy. So this one house we had, yeah, the people that owned it before, they always had all the friends and family. It was Partyville. They were always constantly having parties. And I found ourselves doing the same thing. We were having spiritual parties, sweat lodges, and medicine wheel ceremonies, and it was continuously. But my family and I changed. And so our agreement with the house changed, which was really interesting. So we ended up we moved, we ended up selling the house. And I love it. The new family, young family that moved in with a huge family gatherings over there all the time. So we're drawn to a house for a certain reason, but we can also bring stuff into a house. So when people come over for Partyville, they would bring and leave me a lot of things. So some of us spiritual people, we are hoarders. Yeah, let's get over it. We're hoarders. The closet behind me, holy cow. I have so much stuff. And it was interesting that Partyville house, I had so much stuff that would be brought to me all the time. And some of those objects had spirits and energy connected to it. So I was continuously cleaning that place all the time because I didn't realize how much I was bringing in. One of the big tips offs, oh my gosh, creepy. There's something about creepy old dolls, right? So beautiful neighbor, she was 99 years old. She saw my son and went, "Oh, I have these old porcelain dolls. Do you think your son would like them?" Oh God. As soon as she put them in my hand, I wanted to throw up. I could just feel because all of her angst from her and her kids and everything. Great gal, really crazy family.
I feel it now as you're talking about it. Wow.
Right? So
Wow.
this is one thing we got to remember. Just because someone gives us a gift, we don't have to keep it and we don't have to bring it in the house right away. Luckily, I had like a little covered porch and I knew better. So I left it on the porch and thanked her and she toddled back off over to her house. And then I sat there with spirit and went, "Oh my God, guides, what do I do with this?" And I heard right off the bat, that's bad juju. We got to get rid of it. So they had me wrap it up with salt, and you're going to love this. There's a graveyard that's not too far from my house. They had me dispose of it in the dumpster at the graveyard.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
that potent with it. I had to. So again, I'm not dishonoring her. She gave it to me because she knew I could take care of it. I think subconsciously sometimes people give us stuff because we know what to
Yeah.
do with it. Can't tell you how many items I have buried in the backyard. If you've got old spiritual tools that are broken or really can't be given to other people, one of the best keepers is Mother Earth. So bury it. And that medicine energy goes back into the earth. I got a fan that fell apart, bugs got into, started eating, but the energy of it was just done. I asked. So always ask your things. Ask those objects. Are you done? Do you want to be buried? Do you want to be taken apart? Do you want to be gifted away? But before you bring it into your house, ask, do you come in or do you need to be cleansed? So there's different items that after processing, and that's the big thing. Our items, all of our things around us are vessels. That was one of the big lessons I learned from my spirit guides. So when you're processing and going through big spiritual shifts and changes, like most of us, and through this awakening process, our items absorb that. So it's really good that we cleanse those items, but also we need to check in from time to time and ask, hey, are you supposed to stay with this journey with me? When I left that party house and came here, I donated 65 carloads worth of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, I want you to wrap your head around that.
Wow.
65 carloads. It was so amazing how much. And even this closet behind me this last year, because been going through a huge shedding process, and it is the year of the snake. It's all about shedding and evolving. Another 5 carloads have already gone from this closet behind me. A lot of it was spiritual stuff. And I just realized that my spiritual evolution, where I'm at, is not who I was 10 years ago. I don't need that card deck, that oracle cards. I don't need that, this or that or weird drum or whatever. So I either find who they need to go to, I cleanse them and give them to donation, because then somebody, oh my gosh, will just have this amazing miracle at Goodwill and find the medicine they need. Or there's been a few things where I had to actually give it back to Mother Earth. And sometimes those bugs or mice or clothes-eating mobs, and unfortunately, Spirit tends to send the clothes-eating mobs to me. They got into my medicine box and ate a bunch of things. But I realized when I looked at what they ate, these blankets and old wool things, they were done. The medicine in it was done, and I needed to let go. So I honored and thanked them for taking it away. I was angry and had other choice words first. And I know some people had mice get into their stuff and eat stuff. They're doing you a favor. You're done with that medicine stuff, and it's time to let it go and create new medicine pieces. Yeah.
This is medicine for me. And again, we're gonna get a special offer. Hopefully y'all have clicked on that. But just from a personal story, in this new house that I'm in, 3/4 of the crystals that I had on my altar in different places, I can't put them out anymore. I put them and it's like chaos.
Yep.
It's chaos. My condor feathers, which I loved and everything, I've got to put them away. They're meant to go somewhere else. I don't know where, but it's like the completion of it and the evolution, both for the medicine tool and for myself.
Yep.
It's so refreshing to hear and to get confirmation from you. Today is really actually helping me as I've been cleansing my house over the last.
Yay.
Oh, it's so wonderful. It's okay to let those things go.
Yeah, or make a house for it. That's one of the things that we forget, that our stones, crystals, and sacred items, they need breaks from us. They work really hard and they
Yeah.
get tired too. I have a crystal skull, Edgar. I've had him for a long time. I love him. And his wife, Rasheen, the rose quartz skull. They're a married couple and they do their job, once for past lives and once for future lives. So I love them so much, but they get tired of me. So I got them a box. So sometimes, like your condor feathers, maybe you need to wrap it in sage. And the reason why you wrap it with sage is because not only does it keep the bugs from eating your condor feathers, but also it energetically protects them.
Beautiful.
So you put the sage in there with your condor feathers, and then you wrap that with red, which is sacred. It means no strings attached. And that can be one of the things I do is I take cardboard and I put cloth around them, and then you tie it with the sage into like an envelope, and it keeps them safe. So I made little feather holders for my feather collection I have, and it keeps them safe, keeps the bugs away from them. And that way they get a break. They get a break from me because, oh my gosh, I make them work hard. So ask
Same.
your crystals, do they need a break? Barrier crystals. Holy cow. A lot of my crystals are like, I want to go back to Mother Earth. So I put them in my house plants. And then when I repot house plants, it's like a crystal sale. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all these crystals I found. No wonder that's where you went. So, oh my God, all my houseplants have crystals in them. A lot of my crystals go out to the medicine wheel. The ones that want to come to the house, someone said they accidentally got somebody's doll. I'm so sorry. If you do end up bringing something into your house, contain it. Contain it into a bag, put it out in the garage outside until you can get to it, cleanse your house. But yeah, tune in and just sit there for a second. You don't have to be touching it. You can just see it from afar and be like, okay, does that come back into the house or do I give it away? And again, you can just ask your angels, guides to cleanse it for you. And then just say, okay, do I need to throw it away or do I need to donate it? Because just because it didn't agree with you, like it could go to someone else. But sacreds like your condor feathers, yeah, they'll tell you. We need to stop thinking of things as just a rock or a feather and see it as a living thing. That your condor feathers, because of the ceremony you've done with them, they are a medicine piece. That condor spirit came to you because it knew it could do stuff, but sometimes it wants to fly to the next person. So just give it permission. Say, hey, if you're not supposed to be with me, then you show me who I give you to. And then all of a sudden, these amazing people come into your life and you cry because there's a part of you that's sad, but also you see the joy in your face because you're like, this is yours. I can't tell you how many times items have come to me and then literally just go right back out the door to people. But I love it when people do visit me and they walk my medicine wheel. That's one of the things I do is I have along the house is all hundreds and hundreds of stones. And when they walk my wheel, I invite them, what stone would like to go with you? And that way the healing of the medicine wheel goes with them. So I've always done that. Even when I had my own office, I would have a little bowl of stones and invite people to take a rock. So when we can gift people stuff like that, that's amazing because it's like a part of our heart goes with us. So giving away is not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. And again, it gives life to these items. Like do a giveaway. That's what we used to do when we gather in big ceremonial or just groups of people. Have a table and everybody brings their softly used spiritual items and then have a big exchange. Do the giveaway. Have the giveaway blanket and you give away those drums and rattles and beads and other things you don't need. And then you see, oh my gosh, a box. It's exactly what I need for my stones. So it's a beautiful way to meet your spiritual community, but also to be able to support each other in a beautiful way. Yeah.
How beautiful. Oh my God, Raven, you're just amazing. Let's get into the special offer, y'all, because this is going to be
Yeah.
epic. Live Zoom call, and there's more things in here also with Raven, but this is just so grounding and expanding. It's just, I'm all about this call, Raven.
Good.
Tell me about the special offer. Why were you motivated to bring this in, and what are people going to receive?
So, like I said, I've been doing house blessings and cleansings for years and years and years. And I wanted to put a collection together. I not only did I want to talk, I want to actually empower and teach you so that you could actually bless and cleanse your house. So I kind of put a package together. The special free thing is have I seen a ghost? So that'll teach you to appreciate that house spirit or ghost you've seen in your house. And then in the actual special package, oh my gosh, it is 5 different things in there. So you get actually 6. So you get 3 videos on how to use the tools. So we've already mentioned working with bells and working with charcoal and sea salt and sage and cedar and all that. So I've got some short videos that teaches you how to use those tools. Then I have 2 videos, one that will help you connect with your house spirit. The other one will help you connect with your land spirit. So those half an hour meditations help you go deep, make deep connections with both of those spirit guides and help them to join your team. And then finally, I'm going to do a live workshop, 2 hour workshop where we're going to actually go through the process and cleanse your house. So as you're listening along, you're going to cleanse your house, which is amazing, or apartment or condo. And even if you listen to the replay of it, and I hope you do again and again, you can use it at any time. And again, help to establish that boundary, establish those protocols. And I'll be doing calls and answering questions on individual needs and stuff during that workshop. It's going to be fabulous. We're going to go deep, learn how to do it so that you can walk away certified, ready to cleanse your house and your friend's house. So, yay! It'll be fun.
It's an amazing offer. And again, it's just you're so vibrant and there's so much energy and fluidity and just expansion and the playfulness also. It's just it's and the house loves the playfulness, all of it,
Yes.
right? It's that sprightly energy. It's just it's so wonderful.
Well, our house reflects us and we reflect our house. Again, we're drawn to this place for a reason. Sometimes it's there to heal, sometimes it's really a safe space. And we have to keep that in mind when we're selling homes too, because sometimes our houses fall so in love with us, they don't want to let go. I had a real estate agent that brought me in because she could not sell this guy's house. And as soon as I drove up to the house, there's all these flyers. No one would take a flyer for the house. And I look on the front lawn of the house and there's a giant griffin. And I walk in, I went, "So your client's last name is Griffin, huh?" And she just turned pale. She's like, "How do you know that?" Because there's a giant griffin on the front porch. And I said, let me ask. You can't show the house. No one wants to even take any of the flyers. She's like, "I don't understand. What's wrong?" And I said, "Because the griffin is scaring everybody away. It's so protective." And this was a ancestral. This is his last name. So this is an ancestral spirit that had claimed his home as it. So I actually convinced the real estate agent to get the guy to move. I said, "You got to get him out of the house. He's got to move."
Wow.
So
Wow.
once he left and we let the spirit of the griffin know, it's like, it's okay. You have a new house to go protect. That house sold in a week. It was great. So, and it
Amazing.
was the same with the TV show I was on, Evening Magazine, and the producer, Saint O'Brien, and his family. No, none of the neighbors knew he was in TV. No one knew that he was a producer for a TV show. I drove by his house 3 times. I couldn't find it. And that was my first question. It's like, "Does anybody actually know that you're in TV?" And he's like, "No." And I said, "I can tell your house is invisible." So, yeah, so we don't always realize some of our intention we put into our house. And this is really important going into this year because we need to be responsible with our energy and what we put out. This is so huge, not just for where you live, but just how you walk and talk your life. We need to be responsible what we're putting out there. And when we are in tune with our house, then the house works with us. And like I said, when we do our prayers and stuff, it is broadcasting that healing and diversity and rainbow or whatever we're putting out there, and sharing that with the world. And it can help to calm, to heal our neighborhoods and our cities and everywhere we're at. So this is so important that we do that. And a lot of times we do get moved into that problems homes because we can help put the spirits to rest. I've been into some haunted houses and haunted buildings, and it was a relief because I just said, "I'm really sorry your life was really hard, but it's okay to walk to the light now. You don't have to be stuck here anymore." And it was cleansed. Other times when we were house shopping, woo, we walked into one house and it was not a good mix. We all walked in there and walked right back out. That
Yeah.
spirit, I was like, "I am not the person to cleanse and shift this house." And we have to honor that too. That's why we get drawn to the right spot. So take whatever house you have. This offer is going to help you take it to the next level so that you can work directly with the spirits and your own energy to make a house of love, to make it that peaceful place. And no matter how much chaos or even how much transformation you're doing, you'll have tools to be able to cleanse it. Because let's face it, we all go through our anxiety or fear and our craziness because the world's kind of crazy. It's only February. So, with that, we can at least learn ways to be able to hold and cleanse that space to bring it back to that peaceful harmony we want. Yeah. Yay.
Excellent. Beautiful. Y'all, the special offer, it's $97. So inexpensive for what you're getting. There's a two payment offer. It is Raven. It's going to be so freaking fun, and informative and actionable, and you'll feel the shift. So without question, have you applied the tools? I know that you will feel the shift. So I'm excited for all of y'all who are going to participate truly. So I hope you take advantage of it. Again, the link's in the chat box. If you're watching live, there's a special offer button right underneath the video where you're watching, or if you're on YouTube watching the replay, look for the link in the comments section and dive in. Dive in. Raven, we're going to get Q&A. If y'all want to ask personal questions live, raise your hands. We're going to get into that. One question before we dive into this. I have a dear friend was called, her and her husband, who's now deceased, were called to buy hundreds of acres in this, I think it's about 150 acres. I forget the exact amount. And it seems like she's almost shackled to it. Is there a point in which a house or land has you tied in so deeply into, or has you in such a big state of responsibility that you don't really know if you're supposed to hold on? Do you have purpose with it? Are you supposed to serve it? Are you supposed to go somewhere else? Because it can be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of different energy that's moving around that's not clear.
Definitely, definitely. And a lot of times when we leave the property or leave that space and get clarity, that can really help, especially if you're really locked in, like the gentleman with the Great Griffin, or I've been into some other places where really got locked in land. Even I had a old house with the original builder, Bill, who was quite surprised when I turned around and said, "Listen, bub, we're working together in this house." And he got all like, "Oh, you can see me." So because Bill was so strong and haunted, he would open and close drawers all the time down in the basement. And I had a new baby. So I said, "Hey, if you're going to do that, you can't do it in the morning. I got a new baby." So he worked together with me. But when I went to go sell the house, because I know he really loved us a lot, so I explained the situation. I said, "Hey, Bill, hey, look, my family is outgrowing this house and we need to move. The city has really changed and we need to go more out in the country. So I need you to go find that next person that will take the house to the next level that you need." The new couple that moved in, newlywed, were into environmental science and house rehab. So he went and found, and the crazy thing is, we sold the house in half an hour. That's how fast. As soon as the real estate
Wow.
sign went up, it was sold. That he went and got those people, and that's it. When we create this relationship with the house spirits, the land spirits, they can go find exactly who needs to be the next person. And maybe that's what she needs to do. She needs to be honest with herself. Hey, am I done with this path? Am I done with what spirit wanted me to do? And sometimes what we think we're there for isn't exactly what it is. Sometimes we're just holding the space for the next person. We're there to clear it. We're there to protect those hundreds of acres. And now it's okay for her to let go. But I think sometimes we get lost in that promise, in that vision, and we have to constantly go back and check ourselves, face the east, ask that eagle to come down and give us that clarity to be like, okay, where am I at in my path right now? And does this place where I live match my path? And be okay if it says, "Nope, you're out of there." And that's what happened to us with the party house. I came back after doing some big ceremony. My spouse and I looked at each other and went, "We're done. Let's put some lipstick on this pig and sell it." And we had to sell the house as is because it needed some repairs. But that was okay. It ended up being perfect. It went to the right people that needed it and could afford it because it was as is, and allowed us to be where spirit wanted us and a house that better serves us. And it was perfect because we needed it right before COVID. It gave us enough space so that we could all spread out and get away from each other. So yeah.
You know, I am going to go to live calls and questions. I'm inspired to ask one more question. I think it'll be really beneficial for a lot of us. I certainly want to know. Um, is there a way we can have a relationship with our home space and with the house spirits and request healing for our bodies, or healing from heartache, or from loneliness, or whatever it may be, and really ask for the support
Most
in a way that
definitely.
really honors the energy that we're in?
Definitely, definitely. Remember, there's always two parts to healing. Yes, there's that energy. Like, oh, I remember this cute couple had this old house in Finney Ridge, Seattle, and they were really scared by this cold ghost, cold energy they found down in the basement. And it was actually this grandmother. It was the original owner, the woman of the old farmstead that was there. She was the house spirit for this house. And they were Buddhist. So she didn't understand why they kept worshiping a fat, happy man. So I was like, oh no. And they had had house blessings. And they couldn't get rid of this bad spirit. Well, it was the house spirit. Of course, you can't get rid of that. So I negotiated. I went down there and said, hey, look, the fat man they're worshiping, that's just Asian Jesus. They're fine. And they really are, they're both came from families that they lost their mothers. So they really needed a mom. So to heal, they needed that mom energy. And that house spirit provided that. So as soon as she shifted her views on the couple, that cold energy became warm. It became like a warm blanket for both of them. And she protected them. As she said, I can't wait for the baby that's coming. And I turned and said, she just said this. And they went, we haven't told anybody we're pregnant. So she knew they were having a baby. She was worried about them, but as soon as they started having conversation and changed the dialogue, she was now the godmother to watch over, protect them. So the house of healing became a house of protection so they could have this baby. The other part of a house spirit is they help like keep away that negative energy so they can make you invisible. If you're worried about the world and there's some craziness out there that doesn't even want to see a big poor population of our United States, they don't even consider them humans. And you know what I'm talking about there. Hello, LGBTQ crowd. So if you're worried about that, and I'm part of that community too, part of what we need our house spirit to do is to make a mirror, is to make us invisible so that we can be seen by our communities, seen by our supportive people, but people that refuse to see beyond their nose and their own racism can't see us. We're invisible because we need to have a sanctuary where we can be safe. So, and they can pull away any negativity because let's face it, there is some fear and anxiety that's going on as we're reading the headlines of stuff. And be careful with that. I said objects can bring in energy, well, so can your social media. So we have to be careful of that and ask our house spirits and guides to protect us from our computers and our phones and that social media that's coming in. Filter it so that only what's appropriate comes in and what isn't is taken away. So it takes that negative energy away, it takes that processing away. So our house spirits can help continuously cleanse that energy and throw it out the window. I love that my window faces this direction. You can see me do this because the window's right there. And it literally, as I'm talking about this, it's being flung right out the window, which is great. So that way it's not staying in this room. I'm not infecting this with the rest of my family. It's not holding me down. So if you are feeling heavy, because 80% of the pain in your back is not yours, you are holding on to energy for someone else. Wrap your head around that. And when you walk in the door, you're allowing that energy to hang out without rent in your house. And that could be an object that's holding on to the energy. It could be you. It could be someone else in the family that's processing that energy. So ask that energy what's appropriate to leave. And then if it needs to be processed by that person, have it be contained around that person. Hey, if they need to process this negative energy, I ask for a bubble to be around that person so it doesn't have to affect me. And that's how your house spirit can help you with that, because they can help maintain that bubble and shoo it out when it's done.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
This is amazing, y'all. Don't y'all want to have Raven at least once a week on BTO? It's amazing, right? It's so good. Let's get to some Q&A. Britt, let's start with you. Welcome to the call.
Wow. Yay. Raven, I have met you a couple times and you are so incredible. And I saw you on the show. I was like, I gotta be there. I had a different question, but you brought up the back pain. And I was just at my acupuncturist the other day and she's like, your back is a mess. And maybe to tie that into a dream I had a few nights ago, a spirit came to me and he blindfolded me. And then when he appeared, it felt like an ice pack had touched me. And then I was like, wait, I'm not afraid to see you. Show me yourself. So I took it off and I saw him, and his name was Ebenezer. And for whatever reason, those two things are coming to me in this moment. I wondered if you might have some insights to that.
Yeah, I can so see it outside your door.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know if anybody else has noticed in some of these videos, if you don't look at the person and start looking around the room, and especially that crack of the door behind you, you can see kind of a dark spot. Yeah, that's totally the spirit hanging out.
I keep seeing what I think is my kids or my husband, my peripheral vision, and
Yep.
nothing there.
That's a spirit. So, yep. So confirmation, you have a spirit that followed you. I was going to ask you if you've been traveling. It might just be your travels back and forth to work.
Okay. No, not really. I work from home.
Okay, so you work from home. So,
Yeah.
so it could be a couple different things. This is where kind of doing a little bit of Sherlock Holmes investigating, because sometimes our spirits can be connected to ancestry, so they can be coming through there. It could be connected to our house, or it can just be a freeloading spirit that jumped onto us and came home with us. And I think it's number 3 for you.
I
And
think so too,
it
because
can
it's
be your acupuncturist office. Remember, those
oh,
like holistic places that we go and get treatment. A lot of times people shed spirits and energy off, and then if we're not careful, it can like be like fleas and jump onto us. So one of the things that you always want to do when going to your practitioner office, one of the things that I carry is a little bell in my car. And so I will put the intention, only love and light. I ask for that bubble even before I walk into the office. That way I can get my treatment. And then when I get back in the car, I ring the bell, and you can actually take this bell, because I can see Archangel Michael totally waving behind you. It's the big white big spot I see, kind of waving his hand, hello. So ask Michael to go in the bell. So take a bell, hold it to your heart, and ask Archangel Michael, I ask you to please go into this bell. And every time I ring it, I want you to wrap your wings around me, to flap and send away all negative energies and to clear the space. So when you get in the car, ring the bell, Michael will do his work, and then you're cleansed and cleared, and you're not bringing anything home with you. So Ebenezer he's not bad. He actually saw your
no.
light and is actually just kind of hanging out. So let me ask him, hey dude, what's going on? Why do you want to help? You can probably, anybody looking in the crack of the door is probably seeing something now. He thinks you're cool, likes your energy. Your house is very sweet. You cook really good food.
Oh, that's so nice.
Getting attracted by that. I think we can actually send them. So let's ask for all beings of love and light. We ask please to surround everybody listening and anybody else that has spirits in their homes. Let's just do a big party trick here. Anybody listening to this that has spirits in their home that would like to go to the light now, we ask you to please join us. Archangel Azrael, the angel of death and transitions, we ask you please to come forward, to open the door to the great beyond, the light. We ask all spirits that are ready to depart from this phase and go into the next light and the next path and journey for them to go to that light now. We thank you for your assistance. We thank you for your knowledge, your strength, or anything that you added that we have seen or maybe not seen. We thank you for all that help, and we wish you farewell as you go into the light. Thank you, Ebenezer, and thank you all spirits that came here to this path, and we wish you well in your next journey. Thank you, Azrael, as you close that door to the great beyond. And we ask now our angels, guides, dragons, and beings to cleanse and clear the space, to see them as they blow that fire, flap their wings, spread that fairy dust in all directions in your home, to the east, to the south, to the west, to the north, to above, below, and within. This space is clear. Oh, there you go.
Wow.
Woo!
Oof. Thank you so much. That's incredible.
How's that feel?
Uh, really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Really good.
Thank you. Thank you for being the example for everybody. Yay!
Oh yeah, no, thank you for calling on me. You're so amazing. I adore you so much.
You are so welcome.
Thank
Keep
you
that in
for
mind. So
everything.
when we become a ghost magnet, I am such a ghost magnet. I had a
Yeah.
ghost society actually follow me around, take readings because ghosts would come, and just about every place I live is always haunted because I'm a magnet for them. So you might be a little bit of a magnet, hun, and that's
I'm
okay. So
okay.
get the call Azrael and get to know Archangel Azrael, Angel of Death. He's
Okay.
the part of death that's on that side. He's a great one to work with transitions and can do the work for you. So all you got to do is have Archangel Michael by your side, ask Azrael, and his energy feels cold. So don't freak out if it feels kind of
I'm
cold. I
already
don't know about
feeling
you,
cold
but the
right
room
now.
feels air
It's
conditioned at the
getting
moment.
colder as we speak. Yeah.
It's cold, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
That's
getting
Azrael.
colder.
Anybody else that feels cold, don't worry. That's Azrael's energy, and it off-puts some people. But holy cow! In this year of shedding away and
Yeah.
transition, Azrael is quite busy. So getting to know that energy can really help you in your own transitions. But he can take care of spirits, so he can. And if you're not comfortable with that, Archangel Michael, because
Okay.
hi, angel of protection. Who better to go to than the big, Italian angel that wants to like guard you with a giant flaming sword. So ask them to work and clear it. And then that way, if you have any other uninvited guests, the other thing I can mention that because I'm a ghost magnet and I don't want to walk naked out into the snow anymore
Yeah.
because they want to have conversations in the middle of the night with me, I put an intention that they can only talk to me on the wheel, and I put a bench by my wheel. So if you have a meditation area, have a place or an altar that you set up that's the communication area. And then your job is to set that intention that once a week or once a day, you go and check in to see if anybody's there that you can assist or have a conversation with. It's a good way to have that boundary. That way your bedroom is sanctuary. Of all the places in your house, your bedroom should be the most protected because that's your time with spirit. Other spirits don't get to come in. I think he tapped you in your dream because he needed help. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you did
And you
right.
helped
You did a
him.
good job, and congratulations. You just helped move a ghost onto the other side.
Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you so much. How fun.
Yay.
Thank
Great
you.
blessings to you. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and stimulating this conversation. So wonderful. All right, let's continue now. Well, before I continue, y'all, I want to remind you of the special offer. It's this and so much more that you're going to get in the live trainings and
Mhm.
what Ravens have already provided as part of the package. It's $97. It's a two-payment option. Wow. I feel like I know so much already, but every time I listen to Raven, I learn so much more. It's absolutely amazing. And I'm just like on the edge of my seat. It's like, tell me more, tell me more. This is so great. Again, the link for the special offer is in the chat box. It's on the page where you're watching the live call from. If you're on the YouTube replays, it's in the comments section. So click on that and participate. Let's continue now. Let's go to Christine. Hi, Christine.
Hi, John. Thanks, Raven.
Yay.
I have a question because I like to do repurposing of furniture and go to antiques places or Facebook Marketplace or whatever and repurpose it and bring it into my home and decorate. I also do art where I'm taking glass and different things and making art pieces out of it. Now you got me a little concerned because I really love the energy in my house. I feel like it's really wonderful. And we built our house 3 years ago. So now I'm wondering what I could be doing, or should I be doing something regarding all these pieces I'm bringing in that
Oh my gosh, no worries. I got a story for you though. Of one of the house blessings I did was a couple that ran a chiropractic office, and they had so many problems. Like none of the other practitioners would get along. They all had fights. They had people leaving. They had a really bad time with their clients. They're like, what the heck's going on with their practice? They were like you, avid collectors of antiques and stuff, and we resell them and stuff. And guess where they stored them all? In the basement of the chiropractic office. So when I went for a house blessing and I walked down the stairs, I threw up. It was so awful. And I started going around. I could pick out the items. And again, it was funny because the guy was like, well, I got it because it was a good deal. And the wife would say, I hated that thing. I don't understand why I kept it. So again, if they would have worked together with their intuition of what to keep and what not to keep, that would have helped right there. And one of the things I identified was a clock, an old 1930s clock or a radio kind of thing. And oh my gosh, that was what was having a lot of it. The woman had put all of her inks dying from cancer into it, and it still held all that. So some items they just had to throw away. Other things like an old cast iron range stove oven with where you put the firewood in, they could contain it. So they use salt, they use a kupor or camphor. Camphor has an amazing ability to absorb all negativity and displace it. It actually kind of contains it and then displaces it. So camphor might be a good thing for you to get. Kupor. It's found in Indian stores and like different like little convenience stores and stuff that looks like resin, little like chalk blocks. And you can actually put that, careful, it will eat finish off of wood. So you can put it in a little glass bowl or keep it in a plastic bag. But you can put this with those antiques and stuff, and that'll help contain the energy. But the biggest thing I got from that whole experience is follow your intuition. When you're in a flea store or market or getting these different items, just really ask your guides to go shopping with you. Send them ahead of time if you're going to an estate sale, and clear all the energy and bookmark all the ones you're supposed to get. So that way you're drawn to it. Like, oh yeah, that's the one I'm supposed to get. That way they've already vetted everything, cleared the energy for you, and you know exactly what you're going to get. The other thing is have a staging area. So if you keep your stuff in your garage or have a room where you keep it, set up a grid like John was talking about and put the intention in that grid. And again, it could be little crystals, it could be marbles, it could be whatever you want, but put it in all four corners. And that way the intention is all energy of these items is contained to this room, but cleansed and cleared continuously. So that way they're being blessed and cleansed. So that way it's getting it ready for the next person or for you to put on your wall. So if you can do stuff like that, or if you have a garage or somewhere separate, it gives it time to air out. I ended up rescuing an Arkansas crystal the size of a bowling ball from Goodwill. They had it for 20 bucks. Oh my God, they have
Oh my
a
God.
$1,000 crystal sitting there at Goodwill. But that thing was so abused and it was so not happy. When I tuned in and asked it what it needed, it sat for a year outside in the rain to cleanse it. So sometimes you just have to tune in and ask, what do you need? And you can make like a spray. Like I have sprays that I make, and it's Divine Mother Mary. Remember that bell trick? I asked Mother Mary to go into the bottle with a little bit of rose water, and this works great. I just spritz it. So if you can do a light spritz of like cleansing over your stuff to cleanse it, that can help you with the process too.
Yeah, I don't really sell it. I really keep most of the stuff. And so
Perfect.
what I'm trying to do is just repurpose, because I
Mhm.
feel bad about throwing stuff away, so I want to bring it in. But I
Yes,
want to
and
use
again, a
my
lot of times you're rescuing that stuff. My wife actually found a buffalo skull that was ceremonial in an antique shop. It had been collecting dust for years, and the thing was so sad because no one was using it for ceremony. So I brought it home and I put it in the closet behind me, which he was quite upset. He's like, "Don't put me in the closet. I want to work." So when I tuned in and actually sat with it and asked it what it wanted to do, it said, "Put me to work." So it sits on my medicine wheel. The squirrel has eaten his face off, literally has been chewing on the bone, which I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry you're being eaten. And he's like, I'm happy, I'm doing the work. So he's feeding a squirrel calcium and doing the work on the medicine wheel, and it's a win-win. So it's okay. These items are coming to you because they want to be taken part. They want to be repurposed. They want to be art. They want to be loved and hung up. So just know that, trust your angels. And I can see Raphael and Gabriel and a few others behind you. They're helping you shop. So blame them when you go a little too crazy in some of your shopping, but they're bringing it home because you're giving it purpose. Because otherwise it sits, it sits in someone's
Yeah.
garage or at an antique store or wherever you find it. So trust it, trust the process. We rescue a lot of times, and that's what you're doing. You're rescuing.
Way to
Thank
go.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming on. Blessings to you. Raven, wow. Again, y'all, the special offer, I already told you where to find it. We're going to run the replay for the rest of the week. Come back, and there's just so much here. It's so amazing. And it's gone by so fast. And how would you tie all this together as we're at the tail end of the call? Because there's so much. What would you consider a foundation to start with in our relationship to house spirit? And how can we at least be, what's a practice that we can bring in to be more in relationship and intentional with the commingling of energies that we're co-creating together?
Well, let's go back to what we titled this House of Love. And
Mm,
it always starts with love and gratitude. Your
mm,
house brought you there. Even if you're going through the hardest time in your life and you are fighting for survival and just trying to live and heal right now, this house brought you there to wrap its arms around you and hold you so that you can get through this. If it is growing a new family, this house brought you here like a nest to help raise this family. Or if you find yourself in transition, this house is working with you to launch you to your next place so it can bring in that new family. So no matter where you are, this house loves you. It loves you so much and is so grateful that you came there to make it bright, to heal, to laugh, to cry, all of it. And that's what our houses love. That's what our land loves. So the history there, who lived there before, all that is just like a rich tapestry, a rich book that is all these many chapters. And you're a chapter in this book. So just love this beautiful house. Tune into it, even if you just send it love and gratitude. Let's use February 14th for love, for self-love, for reflection, and love in our homes. Put away all the industry stuff. Let's reclaim February into helping February 14th into loving thyself and loving thy house. So let's pour that love into this house and go deeper into it, because that's it. Once we think we know everything about our spirit guides, that's usually when they pull out the rug and we learn something completely new. Holy cow, I've done that so many times. Dragons, hello. They've always like made me feel really little and what, ha ha ha, little one, you know nothing. Yep, every time. So take some humble sauce, know that you don't know everything, and open up your heart and say, okay, house, reveal yourself. I'm ready to learn something new. I want to go in a deeper relationship with you. Let's work together and heal. And not only heal this house, this land, but let's send this love out to our neighbors, to our community, to our town, everywhere. Because if all of us do this around the world, because I know it's not just my local US people listening. John, you're amazing. You reach out to community all over the world, because I've talked to a lot of you all over the world. And every time I talk to any of you listening to this, even in the recording, I feel like I get to go to your land. I get to go to Germany. I get to go to India and Sri Lanka. And I've been all over the place, John. Thank you. And I feel like I get to be, because I always feel like I'm sitting with them in the call. So everybody watching right now, I feel like I'm sitting with you in your house, listening with you. And just know that I'm right there giving you a hug and giving your house a hug, because you want to be able to do what you're doing. If you didn't have this house that protected you, that provided this safe space to do all that you're doing and all the healing you're doing. So thank you. It's humbling to do this, and I'm gonna cry. I'm like literally trying to give voice to all your homes right now. They're all saying, I love you. Thank you for coming and being with me. And I want to help you in every way possible. So just feel that. Your houses love you. They want to help you expand and evolve and shed off those layers of the year of the snake and house all your crazy stuff, because all of us are hoarders. Our houses laugh at us sometimes of the stuff we hold on. And the house is ready to put to work. So ask that house what it wants. Does it want to help you get rid of stuff? Do you need to get rid of that lamp that you've had in the back shed because it doesn't fit? It's time to let it go. The house can help you with that. But the house can also bring in that next great painting that wants to hang on your wall, because it's like you. It likes fashion. It likes color. And it wants to love you and help you grow every day. So yay. Thank you, everybody, for
Oh
listening
my
to
God.
this and loving your homes, because that's how we all connect and show that love and gratitude. Yeah.
Minnie had a question. Minnie, the special offer is going to be up until April. The live call happens February 21st. So, but there will be replays of it. So if you miss it, the recordings, and again, it's a tool in your toolbox, and how wonderful, and the ceremonial aspect and the different tools and the learning relationship. We learn relationship with others on the physical level. It's about learning to deepen in relation and communication style with our house spirits as well. So this is beautiful. Again, y'all take advantage of it. Raven, you are a gift. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Truly.
John.
I'm just
Yay.
like,
I didn't make you drool, but I know if you listen to the recordings of talking to your house spirits, I'll make you drool. The meditations are really deep, but it always is that connection of spirit. And thank you for letting me be on air today and to be able to talk to everybody in the community. It's just, I feel very humble being here, because I love being the voice and you allow me to do that. So thank you, John, for everything.
and it feels like home to have you here, truly. And the house
Yay.
spirits say yes to that. So thank you. And thank you all also for the gifts that you are, and for showing up, and just the energy, y'all, that y'all are bringing. whatever was holding us back energetically, or we're sluggish, or it's like, if y'all can feel you the way that I feel you, oh, everything is so perfect right now.
It's all
Truly.
fast forward from here on
Fast forward.
out.
Thank you all for the energy that you hold, for the love that you are. I look forward to seeing you on the next call. Namaste.